Okay, guys, so this is the second question. It's, as you can see, a lot lengthier, but we will still follow a lot of the same patterns and procedures as the last one. So, um, I did not copy everything as you have on Canvas because it wouldn't fit. So for this to make more sense, I will actually read this question first, and then I'll go back here to read these sentences. And all of these are from the article. So the question we're trying to answer: which two sentences together best support the idea that officials do not believe there will be other attacks related to the one Sunday night? So we're looking for sentences that confirm um, there was not going to be a follow up to the attack, to the shooting. So number one, there was no immediate word on the shooter's motive for the bloodbath. Number two, Sheriff Joseph Lombardo said authorities believe it was a lone wolf attack, that he acted alone. Number three, and the U.S. Homeland Security Department, which is responsible for the nation's safety, said no other public venues were specifically in danger in the U.S. And number four, Las Vegas authorities put out a call for blood donations and set up a hotline to report missing people and speed up the identification of the dead and wounded. Okay, so we have a lot of in here already, but I think you can kind of already get a sense as to what is the answer. And we're looking for the two sentences that will inform us that there was no further threat after the immediate attack um, during October of 2017. And so, just like with the last question, sorry, I already gave you guys the answer. I will give you some tips for you to take into account as you are trying to figure out the answer. So, a lot of these are the same as the last one, and I just added a couple. So you'll skim back over the text with a couple with the question in, sorry, I'll start over. You will skim back over the text with the question being asked in mind. You can compare multiple choice answers to major themes in the article. I'll show you how to do that. Find which two sentences have something in common. Use process of elimination. Double check your answer to make sure it makes sense. That is when you're finishing. And you can use other questions to help you answer this one. So you could use question one and what it said over there as maybe a hint if you're stuck. And for this question specifically, what will be most important will be the process of elimination. You guys will see what I mean. And to check your answer, you will make sure that the two sentences have something in common. So let me now go back into the question and the answers to kind of go over these sentences and figure out which is the answer. So for now, I will not focus on this bottom part. I will just focus on the sentences themselves. And again, I'm looking for the ones that inform me there is no other attacks related to that first one or the original one. So one, there was no immediate word on the shooter's motive for bloodbath. I don't believe that one informs me that there will not be any more attacks, and that is because of the lack for the motive. Because if you had a motive and you figure out why the man acted in this way, you would have a very good idea as to whether there will be another attack related to it if there's a series of it that are expected, or if it was just a one and done. Having a motive would either confirm or deny that. And this is speculation, so I don't think that's a good answer. Number two, Sheriff Joseph Lombardo said authorities believe it was a lone wolf attack, that he acted alone. This is a big hint, mainly because of lone wolf attack or that he acted alone. This is because if he did act alone, and we know that he committed suicide during the shooting, then there is very likely not going to be a second attack. If there was no other person working with him after he took his life, that was probably going to be it. So number two is very likely going to be part of my answer. Number three, and the U.S. Homeland Security Department, which is responsible for the nation's safety, said no other public venues were specifically in danger in the U.S. This is a big hint. It says no other public venues were in danger, and it's coming from Homeland Security Department. Sorry, from Homeland Security, which is supposed to be a reliable organization. So three has to be my answer. It's specifically telling me that there was no danger to other public venues. So that would tell me that it was just that attack and that's it. So I think my answer is going to be 2 and 3, but let me check 4 just to make sure. So Las Vegas authorities put out a call for blood donations and set up a hotline to report missing people and speed up the identification of the dead and wounded. So I do not believe that would be a correct answer. Why? Because it does not mention anything about the attack. It just mentions how people reacted to it, but it does not mention if there is either the potential for a second attack to occur or if it was an isolated incident, as it kind of says over here in number 2. So by process of elimination, I believe 2 and 3 is my answer, which would be B. In addition, I can double check by finding if these two sentences have something in common. And they do. Both of these mention the attack and mention the fact that these are kind of isolated incidents. So they do have that in common. And with that, I can double check and I can confirm that the answer is indeed B, 2 and 3.